Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise. My name is Lamar Haven. Welcome to Spiral Knights. I will be looking into early content at the moment to get people interested and hopefully introduced to this wonderful game that's completely free to play, published by Sega. So, I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the tutorial stuff on my own because I want to be able to explain it to you as accurately as possible later, and then we'll see some of the early levels in the game. So I'll be right back with you in just a moment. And welcome back to Spiral Knights. As I said before, I went through some of the early tutorial things that I will probably try to explain in much better detail than they did. So what we have here is the shops. You'll find these to the west of the main city of Haven, which you'll see the name of in the upper right corner. Haven is where all the Spiral Knights gather, main hub world. And here in the western side, you have the goods merchants. These guys are fairly useless nowadays, to be honest. They used to be more useful in the early days of the game. However, nowadays we have a much more efficient method of finding these the recipes and everything that they provide. The recipes being what you use, of course, to craft equipment in this game, which is a humongous part of it. There is newer stuff, though, like here, Bechamel? I'm not entirely sure what your name is pronounced, young lady, but I'm sure it's very interesting. Anyway, this is the accessorizer. In talking to her, you will find that you can add tickets, items, and transmute them together. What this means is, here are the tickets on the left. She can remove accessories, and you will say, I added an accessory to my spiral-tailed helm, which I haven't, but I could. And if I were to put it over here, click it, see, poof, there it is. I could remove an accessory. There's also a way to add accessories, and in doing so, poof, poof, boom, you accessorize. You see here, energy. I'm going to get into detail about that a little later. Energy, as you might see in the lower right corner over here, is associated with mist and crystallized energy. Every day, every once in a while, an hour or two, I think, you'll get extra mist. Mist can build up only to 100. Now, this is shared across all your characters, just like crystallized energy. However, crystallized energy, you don't have a limit. It shows a 0 there, but you really don't have a limit. You can buy crystallized energy and use it just like mist energy for everything, but the crystallized energy doesn't have a cap, and you don't get it over time. You can only earn it or buy it from other players. You can also buy it for real money from the Spiral Knight store. The reason why I have energy is because back early in the game, many months ago, I actually purchased a special deal and got quite a bit. I've used most of it on my main character, which we may be seeing later. Here's the alchemy machine. You will be using this to craft your equipment. I will talk to it to show you. Here's the equipment I have, but I do not have any recipes on this character yet. I'm going to show that later when we get one. Here is Cosma, the Spiral Quartermaster. This is actually the supply depot which you can access from anywhere if in the menu when you find it. And what you can do here is buy specific things for crystallized energy. We'll worry about that later. Token Trader. This is for various tokens you'll get in the game. You will earn tokens from defeating bosses or PvP, but the PvP vendor is somewhere else entirely. Here is the Unbinding Smith. You have an item. It is bound to you because you have equipped it and want to use it. However, it's not useful to you anymore, so you decide, I want to unbind it. You talk to him. What he will do is he will make you buy a ticket. He will make you put your item, and then he will unbind it. It costs quite a bit. Here is the Variant Smith. Every time you craft a weapon, an item, or what have you, it will come with a variant. You will see when I highlight over this gun that I got for free for doing some of the tutorial quests, it has a charge time reduction. The charge time reduction is a variant. Not all the guns will have that. You can use this guy to add variants to your weapons. Very useful, costs energy though. In the old days, you didn't have this guy. You kind of just had to keep crafting the weapon to hope you got the right variant. Or of course, or likely, buy it off the auction house. We'll see that later. These are the merchants, and that's pretty much all that we see here. Let's move on to a different area, and I'll show you the auction house. Poof! And here we are. you'll see there the Advanced Training Hall. We won't be going through that. It is a tutorial area which I highly recommend to anybody new, but the thing is, you'll be thrown into the Advanced Training Hall by the story quests anyway. So I recommend giving it a look through. You'll see everything that the game can throw at you up to some of the special stuff you'll see in the late game. Here's the auction house. You'll see many a people around with many a gear. You'll also find many people begging for money. Ignore them. Like, seriously, / ignore their name. Just get rid of them. They're dumb. Anyway, auction house, you can buy various things. I think you can only sell for crowns, the in-game monetary currency. But however, if you talk to this guy or access the menu from various other places, you'll see the energy depot. Here you can purchase things with real money if you wanted, or you can trade with other people. And it will show you how much energy you can buy or how much energy you can sell. The current offer is 7,314 crowns per 100 energy, or you can buy energy for 7,007 crowns. Yes, it's obviously kind of weird why you would do both, but it actually makes sense in a weirdly economic sense. And I know nothing about economy. I'm a psych major. Leave me alone. Anyway, another alchemy machine. They like to sprinkle these around everywhere. Over here is the garrison. Here we are at the garrison. My knowledge of the garrison is limited at best, because it is mostly for guilds. I am far too casual of a player to have a guild. See, you can go here to the guild hall, and one of the newer features of Spiral Knights, I say newer, it's probably been around for a month or two or more now, is that you can decorate a guild hall based on equipment well, not equipment, I would say furniture that other players can earn. The arcade we will go to later. The Hall of Heroes. When I mentioned earlier that the merchants are pretty useless, here's why. I will show the Hall of Heroes if I get to it, and if not, I will make a special episode later where I demonstrate it. It's basically, though, just a collection of recipes that you can get. And here we have the arcade. This used to be pretty much the main hub of the game. It's far less useful nowadays. What you see here is randomized gates that you can access. Now, I say randomized, it's actually, every level is technically randomized. This is a randomly generated content type of game. However, you will see there that there are many little, oopsies, didn't mean to get close enough to show that. Anyway, you'll see the symbols in the background over here. Those symbols represent what you will fight at each gate. That is important if you need a specific type of material for equipment you're making, but that's a little more advanced than we're worried about now. What happens at a gate is you start at a place and you move down, and every gate has a tier. What happens is you get to the boss level, quote-unquote boss level, there's not always a boss there, and you will fight it and beat it. And then if you want to pass that level, you have to have a certain quality of gear, as is shown by the stars. This one is a star level 1 gear. Fortunately not strong enough to pass to a next tier, even if you have all star level 1 gear. And you start with star level 0. Max is 5. I'll show you a 5-star max character a little bit later. He's not fantastic by any means, and I can't show you the end game content with him because the end game content is kinda nuts, and I can't get to it yet. And I don't think I'm planning to. Anyway, so that's all of that. So now that we've seen the city and the area, I think it's about time that we take ourselves a mission. Now up here you have rank, prestige, expansion, and arcade. I have bought the expansion, but we won't be seeing that. That's a little too difficult for our gear level right now, even at the lower tiers. It has 3 different tiers, so you don't have to be max star rank to use it. You just get a better reward. Max star rank is much harder. Arcade missions are, like you saw back here, those are the randomized missions. We don't want to do that right now either. Rank is going to give us a lot of materials and stuff. So we're going to go to rank. Skies Under Cradle. Now what you'll see here is reward prestige, which is basically experience points. No, your character doesn't get stronger with experience points, it's just a ranking so other players know what you're doing. And you have the equipment you'll earn from doing the mission. Here they'll give you 2 different swords, which are very useful in that they're strong and they have a damage bonus. I am still using the proto sword in the beginning. Anyway, let's try and join a party. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Spiral Knights, and If you are extremely astute, you might notice I'm wielding the weapon that I said was going to be the reward from the last mission we should have done. Yeah, there's a reason for that. I have failed a recording already. I'm amazing at this whole Let's Play thing, aren't I? Wonderful start. You might also notice I am completely alone. Nobody else is doing this mission right now. This is going to be fun. Once more into the breach. Advance. And here we are, the Scarlet Fortress. Let us make our way. I just realized, this is a Beast Basher. We're gonna be fighting ghosts. Beast Basher, not gonna get much bonus. Still better than my old sword though. So let's move on. You cut things. You get money. Money good. So cut lots of things. That's the way out, but it's trying to trick you. You can't actually do it that way. Party button. Everybody in the party has to stand on that button to make it progress. So dear ghosties. Let us fight. They're actually cat ghosts. Yes. Why are you doing that? Come at me, bro. There we go. Aha! Oh, hey. This sword has a charge attack special. When you charge it, and then release it. Boosh! Tiny explosions. I have a sword later that does much bigger, much more impressive explosions. Let's switch to a gun, because we have bombs. Shoot bomb! The thing with bombs is that, well, you blow them up. When you blow them up, they destroy everything around them. This is rudimentary. I'm not entirely sure why I'm explaining it to you, but these crystals are more important. You hit one crystal and every crystal linked to it the same color is gone. You have to be careful about how many enemies you unleash, especially when you're playing alone. Slice, slice, slice. Off he goes. Every sword pretty much has a 3-hit attack. Some have special ones. We'll see a specific one later. I say sword because that's the weapon type. You actually can get different looking weapons that aren't necessarily swords. Yes, I did unleash those stupid little chameleons. Alright, one of the things I just picked up, a Vitapod. You'll see it in the bottom part of my screen. Vitapods increase your max health while you are in the dungeon. However, once you leave it, Vitapod goes away. Max health is also affected by your gear. See, it's a different type of bomb. You shoot them and they're timed. Chain reactions are fun. Kill your kids. And then, ghosties. Tosses a vial at them. Causes shock. Shock is a status effect, usually inflicted by electrical weapons. If inflicted on you, every time you attack, you get dealt damage. If inflicted on an enemy, I'm not entirely sure what it does. I've never seen the effect. Maybe it deals damage and I just don't notice it. And that's what happens when you don't pay attention. So he dies. Frame rate! Why? Why? How? Oh god, why? That was terrible. Why did it happen? When you grab something important, like say a key, you don't get to move. Well, I'm sorry, you move. You don't get to attack. Hello! And that happens. This is why it's better to play with other people. I don't think the game adjusts for difficulty the more people there are. It might. This is an early level though, so you can't really tell. They're kinda going easy on you. Don't worry, that ends pretty quick. I think that's a bug. I've never seen the ghosts do that, where they kind of float in one direction. They're usually much more erratic. Vials, like you saw earlier, shock vial, cause shock, they all have different status effects associated with them. Slice, slice, slice. Slice, slice, slice. Poor ghosty. He's actually adorable. The items that I'm picking up are also materials. Materials are hugely important when crafting equipment. Different items, types, drop from different monsters. You get ghost type materials from ghosts. Surprise, surprise. Going to kill you all. Going to kill you all. Well, again. It's always the conundrum when you face the undead in any game, isn't it? Are you killing them? Are you re-killing them? Are you double killing them? Ow! Or are you blowing yourself up in the face? This is always a question one must ask yourself. The important philosophical questions. This is a tower enemy. Ah! They spin really fast when you don't want them to. And then we have another key. This would be easier with more people. We don't have more people. I am very lonely. Please love me. I have pigtails. Don't you love pigtails? Not in the weird way. Look, just pretend I didn't say that. I probably shouldn't have said. Pick it up. Key. Door. Of course, always expect something you've done will spawn enemies in this game, because if you're probably right. As you might notice, I have a shield. I can use it. It actually puts up a full 360-degree shield. These are important. Everyone has a shield, no matter what type of weapon you use. As you might have noticed earlier, I also have a gun. Boof, gun. There are 3 weapon types in this game. Sword, gun, and bomb. Probably won't be seeing me use a bomb very much, because I don't like bombs. They take up a great deal of the screen, require a great deal of planning, take a weapon slot of course, and they make it so it's really hard to see sometimes. There are a lot of times where I get killed, I'll blame the bomb user, even though it's entirely my fault. But blame the bomb user anyway. It's... oh god. Kind of expected of me, really. Ow! Hate slimes. Can't wait till I get their weakness. See, elements have a weird... weaknesses have a weird interaction in this game. If you have an elemental weapon, it doesn't matter if it's fire, shock, or peach flavored. It does the same type of damage, elemental. As you might notice, these jelly cubes, in the upper right corner, you can see their health, and the type of damage they deal. The type of damage they deal is in the upper right hand corner. I'll explain that later. It's pretty much the same exact type of damage you can deal. Normal, piercing, elemental, shadow, and I think there's like 1 or 2 others. Anyway, every enemy has an elemental weakness. Either elemental itself, I shouldn't be confusing the terms. They have a weakness. Elemental can be one, shadow can be one, every type. They can be weak to piercing attacks, that kind of thing. Ideally, as you get later in the game, what you'll have is 2 different weapons. One that deals one type of damage, say elemental, another that deals another, say shadow, which is what I went for. Which is what I went for earlier, in a different character that we may see later. That way, you have everything covered. You either have the enemy's weakness, or if they're resistant to that type of damage, you have switch to your other weapon, which may be their weakness, or may just deal normal damage, and that's fine. On the whole, there are weapons that are straight up just normal damage. You don't necessarily want those. If you can exploit an enemy weakness, you should. Oh! Zombies! Hello zombies. And ghosts. Zombie ghosts. Someone call Morgan Freeman. For life consequences reference. Yes, I know. You're all gonna yell at me. See? Again with the weird bugginess. I don't see that. That's weird. You. I'm gonna shoot you in the face since you're just gonna stand there. And you die. You'll see that the item I just picked up, which I already had one of, is a healing item. Consumable. You can only carry 3, just like any other item that you can carry. Boom. Why won't you just die? There, see? No! Ow. You'll notice I'm being very careful in the earlier recording. Urgh, Jesus. Die! In the earlier recordings where I actually had, a partner, I was far more reckless. If you die and you're alone, you kind of have to spend energy to get back up. If you die and you're in a group, you can choose to spend energy, or someone can give you half their health. What happens when they give you half their health is they get 30% of the heat you pick up. Heat, like the thing I just picked up, is the equivalent of experience in this game. Your weapons all increase in level as you gain heat. There are 10 levels for every weapon, no matter what. And it'll get slightly improved as you give it heat. well, I say give it, it's automatically given as long as you used it on a floor. You'll see the heat get added to everything later, and hopefully you'll see something level up. Sometimes stuff happens at levels 5 and 10, specifically for a weapon. Either it might gain an ability, or just get more stats than normal, but that's pretty much it. You also need levels and weapons to craft and upgrade them. See, almost every weapon has a weapon path. Sometimes it'll start at level 1, sometimes it'll start at star level, say, 3, but you craft the precursor, and then you have to use it to upgrade to the next. To get some of the best 5-star weapons in the game, you've got to craft it all the way from star level 1. So when you're making weapons, early game, ow, 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 die, 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 as I was saying, as you are making levels early game, it's nice to plan for what you might want later. I kind of cheated. The expansion mission I showed you earlier gives you a 5-star weapon, a sword actually, well, it's a hammer, but sword classification, and oh dear. And it also gives you a 5-star bomb for free. They're actually pretty darn useful. The hammer is unwieldy as all hell though. Like, very. I'm not actually very good with it. Ow, ow. I really hate these turrets. They need to die. Oh look, shiny block? All blocks near it go away. And here's the exit that we saw earlier. So let's move on to the next level. And here we go. It's added to equipment. It's added evenly to all equipment you have. The more equipment you have, the less each individual item is going to get heat. Let's move on. Poof. And here we are. There you can exchange your equipment if you were so inclined. I'm actually inclined, now that I think about it. Let's say, instead of the Big Beast Basher, I get the Super Slime Slasher. Let's say those, like, oops, no, equip me one. Okay, there we go. Super Slime Slasher. Yes, it's a shovel. Just, look, work with me here, people. Ooh, same exact ability. Very nice. Look, I don't like you, and you don't like me. But you might have treasure I want. So let's go, buds. See? Treasure. Money, money, heat. All very important. You might notice the indicators in the top left. I should explain parts of the UI. There's Pultruce, my character. Name there. Health, how many bars I've got. As I said, affected by both gear. Yeah, no. Affected by both gear and the Vitapods you'll find in dungeons. Then underneath that is shield indicator, how much damage you can block with your shield, and how much you've used for special attacks, which I'll show now. Like this one, the Shield Bash. Damage and stun enemies. Ow. That will use part of your shield meter. And under that is your heat indicator, how much heat you've picked up. It's not very, effective, actually. It just kind of gives you a general idea of how much heat you picked up. And even when it looks like it's maxed out, it's not maxed out. There is no max. Just however much heat you can find in dungeon. That's why it's pretty common practice for folks to just kill everything. Because heat is shared between the group without being split. So like one person picks up one piece of heat, everybody gets one piece of heat. Very nice. Same thing with crowns, by the way. And then, when you get at the end of the dungeon, you just pick up all your heat that you got gets added to all the weapons that can get heat. If you have a level 10 item, it won't count against your heat. So it's highly recommended that if you have a max level, if you have an item that you really, really want to level up fast, make sure all the rest of your stuff doesn't need heat. If you're not in a position where that's the case, then I'm sorry, you're gonna have to grind. This game is kind of grindtastic in places. Kind of really grindtastic. I kind of love it for that, to be honest. It's a weakness of mine. I actually dislike grinding in most cases, but if the game's fun enough, then sure, why not? Plus, this is a highly skill-based game. You figure that out more from the PvP, if I'll be completely honest. Which, by the way, PvP doesn't care what gear you have. it gives you a specific set of gear. You would get like a roll, and then when you choose that roll, you get gear for that roll. It's all skill-based in that sense, and I suck terribly at it. Like, I've tried, I really have tried. Oh god, have I tried. And it just goes nowhere. I'm terrible. Wait, that button doesn't let me into the exit, does it? Does it? Oh dear. Yeah, sometimes they do this to you also, where you have to run away. Oh, that energy gate. You spend energy, you walk in. I'm not going to do that. That's kind of a waste of energy in almost every case. It makes, oh dear, it makes far more sense if you're in a party and someone's willing to do that. But even then, the ideal situation in a party is to use as little energy as possible across your party. Because if you use more than your daily allotment, you start dipping into your crystallized energy, which can cost real money. Nobody wants that. If you are willing to spend energy to, say, revive yourself and then revive everybody else on the team if you have a full party wipe going on, people will love you for it. And you'll get the benefit of every time someone dies, they lose 30% of their heat. It just kind of drops on the floor. Now, the thing is, you can't pick it up unless you revive them. If you revive them, you get 30% of the heat they've collected for that entire floor so far. Same, vice versa applies. So it's kind of very, very incentivized for you to revive other people. But keep in mind, you will lose half your health. And if you don't have enough health to give, which yes, that happens, you can't revive. So again, good gameplay, rewarded. It's almost as if they have a general idea of what they're doing. You might notice I can go to the end of the floor now. I'm not going to yet, because there's more stuff to get, like these crystals. These crystals can be sold for crowns. Yes, crowns. It's very fun because free money. You just walk around with this on your back, and later you can sell it. Little problem. The only thing they're really useful for is the arcade. What you do is you put them into one of the arcade thingies, and you get to manipulate what type of enemy you can fight in that arcade. This is very useful if you're looking for specific items or specific materials. Not as useful because it requires a lot of crystals and you're not going to do it alone. It requires pretty much everybody on the game to help you. So how, you asked, do you encourage other people to use the right crystals? The magic of economy, my friend. The magic of money. You will be able to, oh god, basically put a bounty on every, yes, we're ignoring that happened, I'm ignoring it. You'll be able to put a bounty on a specific gate. Like, say, normally you would sell a red crystal, like the one on my back, for 3 crowns per crystal. Not much, but you collect a lot. Well, you can say, I will put enough money in so that people who sell to this gate get 4 crowns per crystal instead. That incentivizes it, and that means more people will put red crystals in that gate. Useful? I've never personally ever used that system because I never need a material that badly. I usually can just buy it off the auction house. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of this floor. I'll work my way out of here without dying. Haha! I actually did it! That was close, but I did it! Yay! Look at me, I'm amazing. Alright, so I'm going to walk my way out. All the consumable items that I haven't used, which I'm usually pretty terrible at using, yeah, they're useless to me now, because we're about to leave. But usually you face much longer floors. You can go through all 100 energy that you get a day just for one trip. But here it is, our way home. So, Poltruce says goodbye, I say goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video. Level complete. And video complete. See you all later.